who, what, when, why, and how. None of these matter for today's video. In fact, we're going to focus on the one I left out. Today we focus on where. I would assume that you might be thinking, where what? But as you're watching this video, I'm sure you already know. We're here to delve into the question of, where's the beef? No, I'm just messing with you, we already did that. So for today's video, we're going to pack our bags because we're going to take a trip around the earth where we're going to try to answer the question, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Macabre Gorham Labs presents School of Boredom, a showcase of things likely forgotten. My name is Bats, and I'll be your guide today as we delve into the history of Lesson 204, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, a Where'd She Go game show.
Take you for a ride on the most of China. Tell me where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego.
Shout out to the person that asked us to make this one. I'm not going to out them here, but I'll let them reveal themselves in the comments if they want to.
See, we do listen to the fans, although I noticed you haven't started on that anime video yet.
These things take time, and I wanted to make sure I did it justice. This particular topic was already on a very long list of future topics, so as requested, let's continue on to find out where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego is an American television game show based on the extremely popular and long-running video game series. Carmen Sandiego also had an animated series, however this lesson's about the game show, and the game show aired from September 30th, 1991 until December 22nd, 1995 on PBS. It was filmed in a studio in New York City, and kids that were interested in being on the show had to take a geography quiz before the producers would even agree to meet them. The show would have a run of 5 seasons consisting of 195 episodes, each with a runtime of 26 to 28 minutes in length, and would have a heavy focus on geographical education. The show was helped into creation by a National Geographic survey that showed, quote,
Americans had alarmingly little knowledge of geography, with 1 in 4 being unable to locate the Soviet Union or the Pacific Ocean. I can't believe that is a real quote.
I don't get it either. We went to school in the 1980s where we were taught this stuff. I think these days they replaced history and geography classes with TikTok Observation 101 or something.
Well, thankfully, we have School of Boredom.
In this game show, 3 contestants would face off in 3 rounds, with 1 contestant being eliminated each round. But we will discuss each one as we proceed. The premise of this show is that the notorious Carmen Sandiego has hired goons to steal national monuments from all around the world, and players must answer questions and solve geographical puzzles in order to track her and her accomplices down and restore the monument to where it belongs. The show itself opens with the chief delivering a story and the events of the case, after which the show's house music a cappella group named Rockapella, whom both sing and accompany the show's opening and leading into the set. It's about this point that the contestants, or gumshoes, are introduced, with 3 contestants aged between 10 to 14 years old. The show would be hosted by Greg Lee, who would play the show's game master and the chief's right-hand man at the Acme CrimeNet Detective Agency. After the case's title reveal, the game is off and running. Mr. Lee comes out and opens a video connection to the chief where she would give the new detectives a profile on the thief and spill the beans on the case they would have to solve before setting the gumshoes to work. The chief, played by Lynn Thigpen, would give the evidence that they had so far, including the villain and what they stole. Afterwards, Mr. Lee would start off each player with 50 Acme crime bucks and explains the rules for round 1, after which the chief chimes back in with the latest update and first clue. The clues in this show were given to the contestants as historical geography trivia. After the 3 gumshoes answer the first question, Mr. Lee has a little back and forth with the day's gumshoes and getting to know them a little bit before moving on. Round 1 is a series of historical geography questions, often accompanied by props or items from the location the gumshoes need to figure out. Each successful answer would award an amount of crime bucks to each of the players that answered correctly. There were several sections in the first round, including the initial build-up, which we just talked about, the first trivia section, the lightning round, the meeting with the chief, the Acme Bugnet phone tap section, the chase, the final clue and crime buck wager.
The chase wasn't added until Season 2, and according to the wiki, they also added a section called Training Exercise in Season 5.
I didn't forget those, I just didn't know how to work them in, but thankfully we wrote a clever segue for them, so now that we know the order of the round, let's take a look at how it all came together. After the gumshoes have had a chance to answer a few questions and start their journeys to catch the crook in the initial build-up section, then comes the lightning round. The set starts flashing with lights and thunder that can be heard in the background, after which Mr. Lee explains the lightning round's rules.
It's time for the lightning round. What's going to happen is now I'm going to give you a chance to try to pick up some extra crime bucks. What I have, 3 questions here. Each one of them is worth 5 crime bucks. The first one of you to buzz in and answer correctly gets 5 of them, okay? So listen closely. Here we go.
With 3 questions on the table, this is a chance for the budding detectives to earn some more crime bucks by being the first to buzz in with the correct answer. After the lightning round, Mr. Lee is called into the chief's office and they have a little comedic back and forth, offering a couple clues in the process. And then came the phone tap phase. This was a phone call between Carmen and whatever crook she had employed, and the gumshoes could listen in via wiretap. This would also give several clues to help them answer the next set of trivia in the next section, the chase. And this is only for Season 2 and onward because it did not feature in Season 1. The chase would have the gumshoes in pursuit of catching the crook. Questions would be asked and the first player to buzz in would have a chance to answer. Players can buzz in as many times as they want to. Each correct answer rewarding 5 crime bucks. And then we move on to the final clue section. This section would also eliminate one of the gumshoes, as each player would be shown 3 potential places that the crook escaped to, and wager crime bucks in an amount on 10 to 50 in increments of 10. In the event of a tiebreaker question was asked and the victor would move on, or both victors in the event of a 3-way tie. And then we move on to round 2, the jail time challenge. This section would also eliminate one of the gumshoes, as it was kind of like the game Memory, as it would show a board with several locations on flyers posted to rolling panels. Players would be trying to find 3 special tiles on the rollers: the loot, the warrant, and the crook. And they would need to find them in that order: the loot, the warrant, and the crook. The 2 gumshoes would go back and forth picking destinations on the board and would have to remember what roller held what tile. For example, if the gumshoe were to pick a destination and it was to reveal the warrant but they have yet to find the loot, then it was put back in its original position and they would have to remember what roller had the warrant. On the other hand, if the gumshoes correctly found the loot and the warrant in order, but on the 3rd guess they did not get to the crook, the control then switches to the other gumshoe, who most certainly would get the win for that round. The first of them to find all 3 in order and put the criminal in jail would move on to the next and final round, Carmen's World Map. Carmen's World Map was more of a bonus round for the grand prize, a trip to anywhere in North America.
In Season 1, it was a trip to anywhere in the lower 48 states.
So this round starts off with Mr. Lee handing a file to the last gumshoe, where they privately write down what destination they would like to go if they win and catch the ever-elusive Carmen. Immediately after this, the gumshoe receives a phone call from the now incarcerated crook, who drops the dime on Carmen and a general location, by way of continent, of where to find her, stating she is in one of the following places: Africa, Europe, Asia, South America, and North America. Mr. Lee would then take the gumshoe to a giant floor map of the corresponding continent, and the chief would give the player a list of 13 potential places that Carmen could be hiding. Then the gumshoe would have 45 seconds to take 8 flashing light posts to the correct areas that Mr. Lee would shout out. Successfully marking a location would result in a light going off with an alarm, while a miss would result in a lose buzzer.
This was made particularly difficult due to the view of the gumshoe being upside down.
If the player failed to catch Carmen, she would escape. However, the gumshoe would still be promoted to sleuth and be given a special prize jacket and some other consolation prizes that I will try to discuss in another video. If, on the other hand, they managed to catch Carmen, the destination they wrote down in the folder was revealed and they won the game, as well as being promoted to sleuth, a prize pack, and their trip to the chosen destination. Now we know how the show was played, let's get to the good stuff. Carmen Sandiego and her criminal gang, Vile, or V-I-L-E, the Villains International League of Evil. First up, we have Nimoy. Nimoy is an alien hailing from the distant planet Roddenberry. Nimoy is a shapeshifter that aids Carmen in her criminal exploits. Next we have Robo-Crook. Half robot, half man, all crook, and totally a knockoff of RoboCop. Basically, this guy was the cartoon crime version of RoboCop. Next up, we have Vic the Slick. Vic was a mustachioed, sleazy salesman. You know the type. Then, Top Grunge. This dude was a disgusting and gross biker, often seen with his motorcycle and very bad personal hygiene. Moving on to the Contessa. This character was ego incarnate. She thinks she is some sort of big shot and royalty. Scurrying along, we have Wonder Rat. This is a corny superhero with a homemade rat costume and his own helicopter. It was a weird time. Next up is Double Trouble. These are a pair of guys that are drawn exactly the same, only one has the exact opposite colors of the other, sort of like someone used a negative filter. Jamming along, we have Serenade. Sarah is a punk rock girl with multicolor hair that is really extreme. Pushing forward, we get Eartha Brute. Eartha is a female musclehead whose intelligence is only matched by that of a tube sock. In the final stretch, we had Patty Larceny. Patty is a young, ditzy blonde girl whom is reported by the lore to be very pretty but kinda dumb. And finally, Carmen Sandiego herself. Described as the founder and leader of Vile, Carmen is a master criminal and star of this franchise. So now, a little bit about the show's cast. Rockapella provided the music for the show, and I mean all of it. There were 4 original members, with Jeff Thatcher joining in Season 5, but the rest of the members were Sean Altman as tenor, Barry Carl as bass, Scott Leonard as high tenor, and Elliot Kerman as the deep baritone. Not only were they responsible for making the music for the show, they also performed the show's theme song, which for some reason I feel like I've mentioned already. Sorry. Now I must point out that I got most of my research for this video by watching episodes here on YouTube, vague memory, and there were a few facts I found while writing in the show's wiki that I wasn't sure how to put in here, so I'm just gonna go for it. All of the show's animations were made on old Mac computers, and according to the wiki, here's a quote from lead animator Gene Mackles.
I took on the assignment to produce about 2 hours of animation for the show. With a ridiculously tight deadline and budget, the only possibility for this to work at the time involved purchasing half a dozen Macintosh computers and assembling a team of animators using Macromine Director to get it to happen. Amazingly enough, it worked, and Chris Pullman and I won a Daytime Emmy for our effort.
Also, according to the wiki, verbatim, there were geopolitical changes. Following the completion of taping for the first season, massive geopolitical changes in the world, including the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the breakup of Yugoslavia, rendered the entire season geographically inaccurate. Starting in the second season, a disclaimer aired in the closing stating all geographic information was accurate as of the date this program was recorded. They also added a disclaimer for Greg to say that says all of their trivia questions and answers have been verified by National Geographic.
As always, all of our answers have been verified by National Geographic World.
National Geographic World.
Ready?
Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego won a hefty amount of awards, and I suppose if this video gets enough attention, I can make a spotlight or bonus features about it, because it really did win a lot of awards, and we will be doing a spotlight on Carmen herself, because as Matt Pat would say, there's lore in those hills. I didn't really watch this show myself every day, but I did watch it from time to time as a kid. However, I didn't really play the games too often, and that theme song was iconic. Hey Goat, do you have any thoughts or memories for this program?
Well, I thought Rockapella was pretty, goofy but kind of cool, and I was never really a big geography person, but Carmen Sandiego, it made it fun, and I actually wanted to watch it and learn stuff.
Cool. But I also want to hear some of your thoughts. What are your favorite Carmen Sandiego memories? Were you ever on this show? Have a suggestion for a future video you'd like us to cover? Did we miss something? Maybe you just want to drop in and say hi. Feel free to leave your comments and suggestions in the comments section. You're all totally rad. And with that, we've come to the end of another School of Boredom lesson. My name is Bats, and this has been lesson 204. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? A Where'd She Go game show. Be sure to check back next time, because you never know what we have in store. And as usual, think for yourselves, be excellent to each other, and of course, keep it creepy. This was a weird show. Tube sock.
Tell me where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego.
Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more of our weird, creepy, odd, eccentric, or strange content as soon as it comes out, please feel free to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. We'll see you later. Keep it creepy.